Nick Vujicic is an internet sensation whose antics have gone viral as he refuses to let severe disability stand in his way.
They call it phocomelia, which means a baby being born without limbs with no medical reason. It was quite a tragedy and a shock to my parents. My doctors told them that I would not walk, that I would not go to school. And my mum and dad, being very strong believers in Jesus, saw me as obviously their little boy, but still a gift of God, just differently packaged. It was about the age of 5 or 6 that I first knew that I was different, and I started entering into a depression at age 8. I felt very sad, I felt very alone. I prayed to God. I prayed that He would give me arms and legs, and He didn't respond. And in His lack of response, in the way that I thought He should have responded, I started believing He didn't love me. I started believing that He didn't exist. And maybe I was just born into misery.
Nick got so depressed that he considered committing suicide at the age of 10.
I tried to drown myself in a bathtub, and there was only one thing that was the pain that I would leave in my parents' hearts and minds with them burying their limbless boy. But then my confidence started growing. My maturity started expanding. In understanding I have a choice, either to be angry for what I do not have or be thankful for what I do have. But what really struck me the most was when I was 15 years old, when my life changed forever. I read John chapter 9, a man was born blind, and no one knew why he was born that way. And I'm like, oh, I can relate to that. And Jesus said it was done so that the works of God would be revealed through him. And I thought, wow, if Jesus had a plan for a blind man, then He has a plan for me.
Thanks to Nick's faith and positive attitude, it seems like nothing can hold him back.
At age 19, I found myself in front of 300 16-year-olds, and I was speaking. Within a couple minutes, half the girls were crying. Then one girl in the middle of the room started weeping. She put up her hand and she said, "I'm so sorry to interrupt, but can I come up there and give you a hug?" She came up and she hugged me and she cried on my shoulder and she said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. No one's ever told me that they love me, and no one's ever told me that I'm beautiful the way that I am." And that's when I knew I was born to be a speaker. So he came to me, he unwrapped me, he looked at me, wrapped me back up, went back to my mum and said, "He's beautiful."
Nick has now taken his message of hope to a staggering 57 countries and an audience of hundreds of millions, including 13 presidents. And now he has company on his travels. In 2012, he married Kanye, and they're expecting their second child this summer.
And we want to just share our story with everyone, my wife and I, because we've come across a lot of people who are not happy, who have given up on themselves and given up on love. And we want them to not give up. I look at the world that we live in and all the pain, and I say, without heaven, what do we have? It's not a coping mechanism, but everything starts making more sense when our eyes are fixed on eternity. I don't need arms and legs for 90 years because arms and legs are probably going to give me arthritis later on anyway. But when you don't get a miracle, you can still be a miracle for someone else.